All right, guys. So for Math 1, we're going to keep an organized spiral notebook. It's up to you the size that you want. But our very first page should tell us the table of contents. So if we're looking for information, this page is going to tell us what page it's on. And so we can find it more easily. So this is going to be our page 0. So I'm going to put that in the bottom right-hand corner. Our table of contents is going to be our title. And we're going to have 3 columns on our table of contents. The far left-hand side past the margin is going to be the date. Then it's going to be the topic. And then over on the right-hand side, we're going to put the page number. And we're going to make sure to number our pages as we go along. The very first thing that we're going to do is on page 1. And today's date is the 7th because it's Friday. And then the topic is mathematics. Mathematical representations. So that's our first page. We're going to add to that on Monday. You're going to add the second and the third page, and the 6th and the 7th page. And I want you to skip them like we're doing. Okay? The reason why, again, table of contents, especially when we have formulas that we have to remember and memorize, if you number your pages and you label where everything is, it's going to be a lot easier to find. And when you have to look back at Unit 1 while we're working in Unit 5 or 6, it's going to be a lot easier if you label where your information is. All right, so turn to the next page. I would like you guys only to use the front page of each piece of notebook paper, just because if we highlight something, sometimes that bleeds through, or if you use markers. So I would like you only to use the front page. So we're going to number this page number 1. These are our mathematical representations. So typically I like to write in bubble letters and decorate and things like that. So you can doodle on these. You can label these however you want. Today's date is the 7th, and this is page number 1 down in the bottom right-hand corner. Now, mathematical representations are different tools that we can use to help us see patterns and help us understand the material better. There are 6 mathematical representations or mathematic representations. So I'm going to give you 4 of them today, and we're going to get 2 of them on another day. So context. And you can write this out. I like to do different things with my notes so that stuff stands out. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to write this in capital letters just so it stands out a little bit more. Because again, I like to make my notes different. I like to cater them to how I learn and how I see things. So if that stands out to me, it's going to be easier to find later. So context is the story or situation that fits or matches the math. So any type of word problem or anything like that, or just simple 1 or 2 sentences that matches what's going on with the problem. Context does not always have to be a question. It can just be a statement or a few words. The second method is going to be a diagram. So a diagram, you may also see this written as pattern, but we're going to use diagram most often. It's a visual or a picture that matches the math. And so it's going to be a picture of whatever pattern is happening. When we do our first lesson on Monday, you're going to get a diagram with that lesson, and you're going to have to interpret what's happening based off that. Like, what patterns do you see? For part C, another way that we can represent math is in a table. And you guys have probably used these before. Table is super helpful, especially to organize information and to be able to see what's happening. So a table is a two columns or more. There may be times that you write out more columns used to organize the information. And I'm going to just write an example and I'm going to erase it. A table that we typically use has an X and a Y column, and then you can write your X's on this side, like 1, 2, 3, and your Y's on the other side. And so that's what we're going to be using, especially in these first few days. And then the fourth method I'm going to give you today, and you'll get the 2 more on Monday, is a graph. So it's a way to organize information visually on an X and Y axis. And I'm going to draw some examples. I'm going to erase these so they're not going to stay on my paper. But remember, you can have an X and a Y axis that looks like this. So this is my X axis and that's my Y axis. You can also just have your first quadrant, which is this part right here. So it might look like this, where this is your X axis and this is your Y axis and that's your origin. So we're going to be dealing with both of those. For some people, it's easier to see that visual pattern. So a graph might be better for them to organize their information. But these are our representations, and we're going to see all of these on Monday when we start our first lesson. And after Monday, we're going to add E and F to the bottom of it, as well as pages 2, 3, 6, and 7.